Hi, I'm Tristan Larson, founder of OrderingAds.com, and I am extremely excited to present to you how to sell more food by doing a whole lot less. And more specifically, we're going to talk about how to sell exponentially more food, even during the most difficult times, without working harder by pivoting to the hybrid restaurant model. That's what we're going to talk about over the next 45 minutes to an hour or so. And I promise this will be one of the most valuable presentations you've ever watched in your entire life. We're not going to sell you anything on this presentation. We are just going to talk about how you can go ahead and transition to something called the hybrid restaurant model and make it through these difficult times. Now, the soon-to-be $200 billion online food delivery business is rapidly changing the global food industry. And in fact, 42% of total delivery sales, of total food ordering sales are being placed online. And it's growing by 15 to 20% every single year. And online food ordering business is growing 15 to 20%, while brick and mortar sales are only growing by 4% a year. More and more sales are going online, creating billions of dollars in new opportunity for food and beverage entrepreneurs like you. And in fact, according to experts, based on current growth, 50% of all food sales are expected to be online orders by 2023. 50%. Meanwhile, retail brands are going out of business around the entire country. And people are really not getting back to work anytime super soon. There's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot of infections still popping up, and the climate, the market right now, people are definitely scared, and a lot of people still don't have their jobs. In fact, 30 million people have lost their jobs over the past, few months since the pandemic, and things are a little scary right now. None of us saw this pandemic coming in a million years. I mean, I definitely did not. I hadn't even heard of a pandemic before this happened. We couldn't have been prepared for this, no matter who you are. But unfortunately, the reality is businesses who aren't adapting quick enough are going out of business. So many restaurants have already collapsed, and this article was March 27th, and 3% of restaurants closed in just the first 2 weeks of the pandemic. An additional 11% could join them. And I don't even know the updated numbers, but it's probably something like 20% at this point. Things are very rough in the restaurant business. And big brands like Ruby Tuesdays, Dave & Buster's, some of the biggest brands in the world that are bankrupt and closed permanently. They're gone. They're probably not coming back. And, that's the reality that we live in right now. It's very uncertain in the restaurant business. And with third-party ordering sites squeezing restaurants, business owners not adapting quick enough, and a tough economy, it's certain that we will see the death of tens of thousands of even more restaurants over the next few weeks, months here. And, times are hard. They really are. And it can sometimes feel like the world is against you. I know I've definitely felt this way with everything going on, and so have my clients. And profits are getting eaten by garbage third-party online ordering sites, taking 20 to 33% of restaurant sales and stealing their customer. And it's not fair, and this isn't why you started your business. You started because you love serving people, you wanted freedom, and you wanted to make money. That's why you started your restaurant. You've been put in a very tough situation, and honestly, I'm proud of you for fighting through this. I'm proud of you for watching this right now. Even if you failed, and even if your sales are going down, that's okay. You fought very hard, and The fact you're watching this video says a lot about you. The good news is every human on this planet still needs to eat at least 2,000 calories a day. That's the good news here. The question is, because people are going to eat either way, will they be eating your food or someone else's? And the goal of this presentation is to share an opportunity that can help food and beverage entrepreneurs of all kinds, whether you're crushing it or whether you're struggling, sell more food and live a better life. But the harsh truth is, you can either complain or you can make money. But you can't do both. So before I continue this presentation, promise me you're here to make money, not complain. Because if you think things are hopeless, you're right. If you think there's an abundance of opportunity, you're also right. Decide right now what type of right you want to be. Both things are true. What do you want to be true? What do you want to see? Do you want to see the opportunity? Or do you want to see all the problems, all the scarcity and things going on in the world that could hurt you? Or do you want to see all the things that could help you, all the things that could help you get where you want to go? Decide what you want to see right now. If you choose problems, that's okay. I would suggest you end this right now because honestly, this probably won't help you. So if you see problems and that's what you've chosen to see, that's okay. Just end this presentation right now. If you see possibilities, awesome. I have something amazing to share with you. I have the key to selling exponentially more food even during the most difficult times without you having to work any harder. The key to the promised land I'm referring to is the hybrid restaurant model. Now, before I talk about the hybrid model and what makes it so powerful and why it's literally changing the way restaurants operate right now and why my clients and the restaurants that are using this model are thriving right now, even during the most difficult times. Before I get into that, I'm sure you're wondering, who am I? Who's this guy talking to you behind the screen? And my name is Tristan Larson, and I'm the founder of OrderingAds.com, Recipe for Revenue, and InSelf.ai. I'm a little bit of an entrepreneur, and I'm passionate about helping restaurants reach their goals. And I've helped hundreds of restaurants achieve their revenue goals over the past few years with my companies, Recipe for Revenue, Customer Magnets Marketing, and now OrderingAds.com. And I've helped lots of people like Nick, who I helped go from $300 Saturdays to consistent 14,000, 10,000 to 14,000 Saturdays. I've helped people like Cindy, who I helped get a, 300% ROI from her advertising, helped her generate $3,180 in just a couple weeks from running ads. And now she's scaling her ads up and she's making even more money and getting an ROI. And then people like Mark, who, said on May 3rd, been thinking about what you are doing and how good it's working. Should I get greedy and ask if we could do more as far as ads? What would you do if your dream was to build a burger empire in Texas? Happy Sunday, by the way, if it is Sunday. So, during the pandemic, helping Mark get where he wants to go. And in fact, Mark had one of his biggest sales days during the pandemic. Mark said on June 6th, biggest sales day I ever had today. Bunch of exclamation points, super excited. Please keep up the great work. So many new customers who saw us on Facebook. And you can see here that we're talking, and that was our conversation on Slack. which is how we communicate with our clients. And you can see here, Mark commented on my post on Facebook talking about how great our clients are doing right now. And Mark said, love having you work with us. Thank you. And, people like Santos, who we helped go from $75K a month to being very profitable at $108,000 a month. And we helped them get there by 6 months. So a little over 20% increase within 6 months. People like Giovanni, who we helped get a little over 50 plus new customers a week. And before that, he was wasting a bunch of money on all these different strategies that weren't producing new customers. And then people like Dave Anderson, who's one of my good friends and clients at Famous Dave's. You may have heard of them. They're doing a little over $500 million a year. And then people like this, where we're generating 571 orders in a single month for $7 an order. So this is 571 new sales that we produced. And then people like Richard Hamilton, who we helped get 1,200 orders at both locations in a single day. So that's 2,400 orders that we produced for a Cinco de Mayo campaign on a single day. All within the pandemic, by the way. And 345 orders we produced for him in about 3 days as well. This was in March. So at the beginning of the pandemic, we are generating a bunch of online orders for him. Then one day we generated 72 online orders in a single day for very low cost, $2 to $4 each. And, I don't show you all of this to brag. My team and I literally spend 12 hours a day obsessing about helping restaurants grow. However, I'm not, nor have I ever been, a restaurant owner. I'm a businessman and a digital marketer. And the third richest man in the world, Warren Buffett, his favorite book is a book called Outsiders. And this book is about how people who came from outside of an industry completely transformed the industry and beat the stock market because they came into a business that they weren't originally in with a brand new perspective because they weren't an insider inside of that industry. That's why it's called Outsiders. And this is his favorite book. And because I'm an outsider in the restaurant business, I'm able to look at the restaurant industry in a completely different way. And I discovered an opportunity to radically innovate and improve the lives of food and beverage entrepreneurs. The solution to predictable growth, even during the most difficult times. And that way is the hybrid restaurant model. And before I explain this model and what makes it so powerful, let me tell you a story to have you have some context, and so it makes complete sense to you and how you see the results we've produced for clients, how that happened. So of course, like anything else, the pandemic happened and we were scattering as a company. Like everyone else, no one saw this happening. And I was sitting in a coffee shop, Panera, looking at my phone, and I get a bunch of calls from my clients. And they see this article that talks about states banning in-person dining at restaurants and bars during the coronavirus outbreak. And I checked my phone and I get all these texts and all these calls from my clients freaking out. And then I start to look at the lists of states that have shut down. And I had this giant pit of anxiety in my stomach. And I was thinking to myself, oh man, what are we going to do? Like I'm sure you did as well when you saw this happening. I had basically my entire life almost flash before my eyes. My entire business, my entire livelihood, how I support myself, how I support my family, how I support my team, how I support my clients. I was sitting there like, man, this could be really bad. That's what I was thinking. Like I'm sure you can relate to. And I was sitting in a coffee shop. And, I was thinking, how are we going to adapt? What are we going to do? Because we have a lot of clients. We help them produce great results, but we were focused on bringing in retail customers. Now we have to generate online orders. What are we going to do? How are we going to get through this? And I didn't want to lose my clients, and I also didn't want to let them down. That's the last thing I wanted to do. My clients, I care about them. We've been working together for a long time. I don't want to see them collapse. And I knew they would be trying to cut costs. And even though we were producing great results for them, they might try to cut me and I could go out of business. That's what I was thinking about. I honestly, for a little bit, I thought I was going to lose all of our clients. I thought we were going to go out of business. That's what I thought for a little bit. So logically, I started to do some research and testing on behalf of our clients. And I saw this article. The soon-to-be $200 billion online food delivery is rapidly changing the global food industry. I saw this. And then I saw, this about how food ordering market is majority online ordering, or almost majority online ordering. And through my research, I came across this quote that said there are only 3 ways to predictably grow a business. And Forbes listed him as one of the top executive coaches in the United States. And he says that these are the 3 ways to grow any type of business with predictability. And that is to bring in new customers, have a higher average purchase value, or increase the customer frequency. So for example, if you went from 700 customers a month to 800 customers a month, you would grow your restaurant and you'd be a lot more profitable. Or if your average bill went from, say, $30 to $33, your business would grow quite a bit. Or if you had your average guest visits go from twice a month to 3 times a month, then that's another way that you could go ahead and grow, because then your customers would be eating with you more often. And I saw that. And then I also saw this quote through my research. And Tony Robbins says the quality of my life was the quality of my questions. I'm sure you guys know who Tony Robbins is. He inspires a lot of people. And when I saw this, I started to think to myself. I started to ask myself questions. And I asked myself this question specifically because I saw that quote right after I was doing the research about growing businesses. And I thought, how can we do all 3 business growth strategies for our clients while helping them thrive during the pandemic? And this is a little bit of a long question that I asked myself. It's very specific, but I figured, this is a specific question. Maybe a specific question will get me a specific answer. So how could we do all 3 of those business growth strategies? Because if we did that and we help our clients thrive during the pandemic, we'd be awesome. We'd be set. We'd be helping our clients thrive. So I talked to my close friend, Kieran, after I came home from North Carolina, which is where I was when I was at the coffee shop. And, Kieran's one of my great friends, and Kieran has spent tens of millions of dollars helping his clients sell products online, tens of millions of dollars with his marketing agency for automotive companies. So he helps car shops and companies like that get new customers. And Kieran said, my clients are doing better than ever before because everyone is in their house using their phone and laptop all day, bored buying stuff. So a lot of Kieran's clients, they sell products online, and Kieran actually told me as I was speaking to him that his clients are actually doing better during the pandemic because everyone's in their room on their phone and on their computer buying stuff online. And Kieran's clients sell products online. And like I said, they're actually doing better than ever before, not even during the beginning of the pandemic, but right now, they're still doing really, really well. And e-commerce grew by about 11% in just 8 weeks. So selling stuff online grew from 16% to 27% of retail sales in just 8 weeks. Most businesses grow by 11% in a year, and that's still good. In fact, e-commerce is growing by $700 billion a year. That means it's growing by almost the entire size of the restaurant industry per year. The entire size. Well, a restaurant industry is worth about $890 billion and is growing by only 4% a year. E-commerce is worth $4 trillion and is growing by 18% a year. 4 times bigger and 4 times faster growth than restaurants. With all this new information and research I had had and talking to Karen, I had a massive breakthrough. And I had a big epiphany. What if we could make our clients become more like e-commerce/tech businesses and become masters at selling their food online using 3 ways to grow a business? What if we could do that? What if restaurants could be more like a tech company, more like an e-commerce business, and sell their products online using the 3 ways to grow a business? And when I thought of this, it was revolutionary. The things that were coming to my mind were absolutely insane because e-commerce and tech businesses, they're growing so fast. So what if restaurants could grow the same way? What's stopping restaurants from doing that? And flash forward to today, every single client we ended up doing this for is actually doing better than ever before. Seriously, every client that we did this for is actually doing better even during the pandemic. And to my surprise, this didn't just grow their online sales significantly. As we start to open up, it also grew their retail sales significantly at the same time. It grew their online and retail. That's when I came up with the name Hybrid, because it grows both online and retail sales at the same time. And you can see Mark Rogers, he said, I've been thinking about what you've been doing and how good it's working. And he asked if we could spend more money on what we were doing in the middle of the pandemic. And he had his biggest sales day ever. And he told us to keep up the great work because he had so many new customers who was seeing him. And we produced $17,000 in trackable online sales plus 5 figures in retail sales in month 3 of the hybrid method. So let's jump into it. What is the hybrid restaurant model? The hybrid restaurant model has 3 secrets, 3 things that make this so powerful that we're going to discuss on this presentation. Number 1, how to ethically steal $1 million online order strategy for $100 or less. I mean, how great would that be if you could literally steal a $1 million online order strategy for $100 or less? You will know how to do that by the end of this presentation. Number 2, how to rapidly add 5 figures plus in retail sales exponentially quicker than all your competitors, no matter what type of concept or market you are in. And then number 3, how to build your hyper profitable long-term dream business no matter the economy, and do this all while spending less time and keeping more profit. That's what this is all about. And by the end of this presentation, you will see exactly why these 3 secrets make the hybrid restaurant model so powerful, and you will see how to implement these things into your business and thrive despite the pandemic by doing a lot less stuff, not having to work harder. None of this means you have to work harder. None of this means you have to spend a ton of money. All of this is something that any restaurateur could do for themselves, and that's what we're going to talk about in the presentation. So let's jump into secret number 1, how to ethically steal $1 million online order strategy for $100 or less. So there's something called the accelerator effect that you should know. And in most companies, when they put their foot on the gas in the company, the car moves forward. You know, when they decide they want to grow, they grow. When they decide they want to go faster, they go faster. Most food and beverage entrepreneurs, when they put their foot on the gas and they try to move the restaurant forward and they try to grow, their car does not move forward. They don't predictably grow when they put their foot on the gas. And what most do is they try all these different things. They try Yelp, they try boosting posts, they try messenger marketing, they try Instagram, they try Google, or they do all these things at the same time. They try all these different strategies. And this is not the way to do it. This is not the way to grow a restaurant. It's not about all these different tactics and testing a bunch of different things and trying, a million and one things at the same time, switching agencies, doing direct mail, doing this, doing that. That's not what it's about. That's not how you predictably grow a business, especially during uncertain times like right now. And this old way that most restaurateurs do, where they test all these things, they post on Instagram, they post on Facebook, they're not actually able to track new customers coming from what they're doing. They're not sure what it costs for them to get a new customer. This old way of unpredictability leads to what I call the cycle of doom, which is where, you start off with advertising or some type of growth strategy that doesn't work well enough. And then your margins decrease because you're spending all this money and not getting a return, which creates less time, less money, more stress, more fear, and more scarcity. And with new competitors in a changing market, this also hurts you. And then you don't have enough customers, so you can't hire or retain good people because you don't have enough money to pay great people. Product goes to waste. And then this is just a loop. This entire loop leads to money going down the drain. And this is the harsh truth for most. They experiment with hope and determination. And when you divide that by the unknown and unexpected, when restaurateurs put their foot on the gas and they try to move forward and they try to grow, most go nowhere, especially right now when things are very uncertain and the market is difficult. If you try to rely on the market and what the market's going to do for you, and you don't have a predictable growth system, growth strategy, way to grow, and when you put your foot down on the gas, you don't move forward, that's what happens. And when you multiply all of this by the pandemic, this leads to going out of business like so many have right now, especially during this difficult time. And that's the consequence, especially right now, of having a completely unpredictable way to grow. Because if you don't, you are completely, like I said before, at the mercy of the market. Here's the solution, because you don't want to be at mercy of the market. You don't want to be at mercy to your circumstances. You want to control your business and your growth and where you grow. If you leave your business and your livelihood up to the market and you depend on the market and where the market's going, you can never grow with predictability. You can never get where you want to go because you can't rely on factors that you can't control. So here's a solution. Meet Adam. Adam's the owner of Pescator, which is a 5-star quality seafood business with very affordable prices. And Adam's been in this business for a very long time, over 20 years. They're located in New York, and they ship locally, and they also ship around the country. They have a sushi business. These guys, they're serial entrepreneurs, and, they're really passionate about what they do. They have a great product, 2-day shipping on all their seafood. It's a great business. And when I first started working with them, they were trying all these different things. They're trying Instagram, they're trying Facebook, they're posting, they're, using Yelp, but none was growing them with predictability, especially during the pandemic where everyone is posting on Instagram, everyone's posting on Facebook. They weren't really making any leaps. They didn't have a system. Nothing was predictable. So I asked Adam, when we started working together, when they called me, they sent me an email, we hopped on a call, we had a conversation, and, on the call, Adam asked me, or I asked Adam more like, who are your competitors absolutely killing it right now? Who's destroying the competition who's making a bunch of money, who's profitable right now, who's, cleaning up, who's your best competitor. And one of his competitors he told me about is a business called lobsteranywhere.com. So what I did, the reason I asked Adam this is because I use this tool called Facebook Ads Library. Facebook Ad Library, anyone has access to it. And I typed lobsteranywhere.com into Facebook Ad Library, and it allowed me to spy on all the ads they're running right now online. All of their ads. So I could see what the caption is, I could see what pictures they're using, and I could see what they were spending their money on, right? Because these guys, they make a bunch of money. They make, millions and millions and millions, 8 figures in sales. And they also spend close to 6 figures a month on ads. So they spend a ton of money on advertising. The only way they would spend that much money is if they were making a lot of money, right? So what I did is I scrolled down and I found their oldest ad. I found the ad that they've been running for the longest time. Because if they've been running an ad since March, that ad has to be profitable. There's no way you're going to run an ad for a year and 3 months if that ad is not making you more money than you're spending, right? You're not going to run an ad for over a year unless that's making you a ton of money, right? So I found this ad. I read the caption. I, saw the picture, and guess what I did? There's a quote that says, "Pioneers are the ones who get the arrows in their back." And one of my mentors, a guy named Russell Brunson, who's a great internet marketer, he spends hundreds of millions of dollars, or he has a business that's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and he spends millions of dollars on advertising. He's one of the best people in the entire world. And there's a quote that he says, "Pioneers are the ones who get their arrows in their back," meaning you can learn from success. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel. If something's already working, there's no reason to try and be creative until you have something that's working. So what did we do? We found their ad that's working the best, and we created a very similar ad. You can see this is their ad here, and this is Pescator's ad. So we said, this is what super fresh lobster meat looks like. Ship, ship, hooray. Get lobster meat, tails, and more delivered to your front door. Pretty similar to their caption here. Sort of similar photo, and then a little bit of a different headline, right? So we took this ad and just recreated it. We didn't copy, but we modeled success. I don't recommend copying. I recommend modeling success. And guess what? This ad, it worked. It started producing some purchases, and it produced a good ROI for them. It made them a good amount of money. And you can see that only within 3 days of running paid ads, they got a 258% return on their money spent. So literally 3 days of running ads, they're already profitable. And that's just 3 days. After 2 weeks, now they have a 300% ROI. Now we're literally spending money to make money. So we spent $1,000 and then we made $3,000 back. So that's a 300% ROI. And you can see here where my mouse is, that's just the total. You can see that some of our ads are producing a 500% ROI. So that's pretty good. So they spent $1,000 to get $3,000 upfront sales. Because their food is great, a lot of these customers will come back and purchase again. And because we have these customers' data, we can use an email list, we can use retargeting, and many other retention strategies to turn their $3,000 into multiple 5 figures of repeat business. I know they have a great business. I know people are going to love their food, and we have the strategies to bring repeat customers so that $1,000 turns into tens of thousands of dollars very quickly. And the concepts this strategy works for is across the board. This works for everything. We have fine dining Indian restaurants that we work with. We have fine dining Italian, quick serve especially, fresh made and farm raised concepts. Even if you rely on freshness, this works for you. Breakfast, local restaurants within a 3 to 5 mile radius, if that's your market. Fast food, destination restaurants. If you rely more on having a great experience, every concept that serves great, consistent food, no matter what type of concept, we've done it for. From the cheapest, most fast food to the finest dining Italian, this works. And even if you're the biggest skeptic, you can't deny more and more people are buying food online, and that number is only going to continue as time goes by. And you also can't deny people eat at least 2,000 calories a day, every day, no matter what. So all you have to do is channel that demand. So now secret number 2, how to rapidly add 5 figures plus in retail sales exponentially quicker than all your competitors, no matter what type of concept or market you're in. Not just online 5 figures in sales, but retail 5 figures in sales. Now, first, let me ask you, do you know the story of Ray Kroc? Ray Kroc is one of the founders of McDonald's. He took it to the moon. He made it one of the best brands in the entire world. And Ray Kroc was actually not a restaurateur. He was a very persistent milkshake salesman. And in 1954, when Ray was selling milkshakes, he visited a restaurant owned by brothers Dick and Mac McDonald in California. And they had a need for several of his multi-mixer milkshake machines. And he was impressed by the simple efficiency of the operation, which rapidly catered to its customers by focusing on a very simple menu of burgers, french fries, and shakes. The next year, he was so impressed, Kroc offered to work as a franchising agent for a cut of the profits. And 4 years later, in 1954, he had sold 100 franchises. Pretty impressive. And he then secured a $2.7 million loan, and Ray Kroc used that to purchase the company from the McDonald's brothers in 1961. So in about 4 years, he was able to get enough money from the bank to actually buy the company from the McDonald brothers. And on January 14th, 1984, McDonald's had 7,500 restaurants across nearly 36 countries and was worth $8 billion. Now, my question is McDonald's the best restaurant on earth? Absolutely not. I think we would all agree, absolutely not. It is not the best restaurant on earth. Probably not even close. Now, my other question is, would McDonald's have been a billion-dollar company without an amazing salesperson like Ray? Very unlikely. Very unlikely. There's a reason why Ray was able to use only $2.7 million to buy a company that later became worth billions of dollars from the founders. It probably would not have been even close to that big of a company if Ray Kroc was not a master salesperson. When I heard this story, it made me think, what does McDonald's have that makes it any better than any other restaurant? Like, what does McDonald's have that makes it such a global, successful brand selling billions of dollars worth of okay hamburgers? Like, why? How did they do that? And I came to the conclusion, number one, it's consistent food quality. Consistency. Super important. Consistent service. Sort of. I guess it's consistent service. And a fast and efficient system. The consistency, and then the efficient system. Those are the main things. And then, of course, they have better sales and better marketing than any other restaurant on the planet. Hands down, they know how to sell some hamburgers. They know how to sell. That is for sure. And most importantly, they have complete omnipresence. You see McDonald's everywhere. In fact, you probably haven't gone a single day without seeing their logo. Every time you drive down the street, you see McDonald's. They're everywhere. And the reason why this omnipresence works so well is because of something psychologists call the mere exposure effect. This is one of the secrets to their success. This is the reason why literally seeing them everywhere makes their marketing so effective, makes you want to order from them because you see them no matter where you go. Now, the mere exposure effect is a psychological phenomenon by which people tend to develop a preference for things merely because they are familiar with them. In social psychology, this effect is sometimes called the familiarity principle. So in other words, the key to McDonald's success is seeing them everywhere, because in the human brain, the more you see something, the more you tend to like it, or the more you tend to talk about it, the more it captures a little piece of your brain. And a lot of articles have studied this phenomenon, as you can see here on the screen, and McDonald's has been one of the main companies they've studied. And in fact, this is the big key for success for all big food and beverage brands. I mean, how often do you see a Hershey's bar commercial or Doritos or Reese's, or you drive by a Steak 44 when you're in a really nice area, or a Pepsi commercial or Olive Garden or Outback? None of these products are world-breakingly, world-shatteringly amazing. And despite that, these brands spend billions of dollars on unprofitable brand awareness advertising, TV commercials, which are untrackable, Super Bowl commercials, which are super expensive, billboards. They spend money on everything. They spend money on the seats when you drive by to pick up if you own a bus, right? Everywhere. You see them everywhere. And most of this is not unprofitable, but they know they can get you to purchase from them if you constantly think about them. And in the past, you would have to do the same thing. You would have to spend a bunch of money. It was way too expensive for a small food and beverage entrepreneur to become omnipresent. But omnipresence is actually now free. You see, Mark, who I've discussed before, his goal is to build a high-end burger empire, but in January, Mark was struggling and in debt. And using the hybrid model, Mark's sales increased significantly during the pandemic, and now he's about to open another location. And you can see this is our conversation. He was saying, how our family pack was a big hit. We are so busy today. It's amazing during April. Been thinking about what you're doing and how well it's working. Could we spend more money? I've had my biggest sales day ever today. Please keep up the great work. So many new customers who say they saw us on Facebook. Our numbers are amazing, but we want to keep growing. What else can we do to keep growing? And Mark went from struggling in debt to now opening his second location after only 6 months of the hybrid model. And Mark generated 571 new trackable customers from the first month of the hybrid method, spending $6.97 per customer. Now, here's the important thing. You can see right here from the past 3 months, we've generated this amount of sales right here. But at the same time, a large percentage of the people who saw our ad did not purchase. And you can see that we generated 1.6 million impressions. Most of these impressions were from people who did nothing. They didn't spend any money. They didn't purchase. And you can see that these 1.7 million impressions were all within a 7-mile radius. And there are 100,000 people within 7 miles of Mark's restaurant. That means Mark's ads profitably popped up on the screen of every person in his market an average of 16 times over 3 months. 16 times is the amount the average person saw Mark's ads. And studies by Salesforce.com show it takes at least 6 to 8 touches to turn a stranger into a paying customer. If you got in front of every person in your market, curious, multiple times over 3 months, do you think that would lead to significant growth? Probably. And even if you're the biggest skeptic, you can't deny more and more people are buying food online, and that number is only going to continue to go up as time goes by. But let's pause for a second. What I just shared with you is how Mark is getting omnipresence for free because his ads that are selling online orders are profitable, and they're also reaching millions of people, almost 2 million people, at the same time as generating profitable online orders. So he got omnipresence. But let's pause for a second. I know what you're thinking. This sounds way too good to be true. There must be a catch. And to be honest, you would be right. There's a big catch. You must have already nailed the fundamentals and have a standout restaurant for this to work. And there's certain concepts that this does not work for. Mediocre concepts with no specialty, restaurants with inconsistent quality, restaurant owners that aren't fully committed to growth, restaurants on the verge of going out of business, no established brand or unique selling proposition, no clear differentiation from the competition, and unclear purpose for existing. Now, who this does work for is food service providers that have no problem serving high volumes of people while maintaining consistent quality, which is important. Either great destination restaurants with good food or restaurants with great food and good locations. And restaurants that have mastered a niche, a specific type of food. In other words, this will only work if your restaurant is already great. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, Tristan, what if I'm not already selling online? I don't have delivery people, or, I don't even have a marketing budget. To start, you don't need a sizable budget. Around $100 is enough for you to make more money than you spent. So you don't need to worry about that. This is not expensive at all. In fact, you can see right here that we spent $105 to prove an ROI right away, right? Right away, we spent $100 and made $270 back. And starting online is easy if you think it'll be challenging for you or you don't think you have time. Mark got his ordering system set up and was taking online orders in literally less than a week. And so have thousands of other restaurants and all of our other clients. So you don't need to worry. Getting set up online, it's easy. Now, what if I'm struggling to find staff and you can't handle volume? You're just not sure if you're able to handle the amount of orders that would be coming into your kitchen. Well, first, if you're struggling to find staff, we use many strategies to find staff really quickly, like posting a job ad on a Facebook page, an Indeed.com post, Craigslist, many different third-party delivery companies that outsource their staff, mentioning it on Instagram, ZipRecruiter. The more sites, the faster the hire, and the more options. And the more options, the better quality candidates, and the more options to choose from. So if you have enough options, you can find a great person really quickly. Now, the other question you might be asking yourself is, will I profit from these new customers and orders? Like, will I make money from these new customers? And the answer is yes, absolutely. However, if you have a great business, the real value in these new orders is return customers. There's a ton of strategies you can use to keep people coming back over and over again, including being omnipresent. So long as your business is great, absolutely. But I don't want you to think that bringing in a customer one time is the goal. The goal is lifetime repeat customers. And there's many strategies using the hybrid model that you can produce that. And one of the best strategies is just being a great restaurant. Now, you might be asking yourself, what if my business is good, but Tristan, I'm not great. I'm not there yet. Maybe I just started. Maybe I'm just not that confident in my concept. I feel like it's outdated. What if I'm just not great? I'm good. We serve good food, good value, but I'm not great. And the reality is this can still work for you. You will just need to continue to focus on stepping your game up as you're generating orders. People don't know the quality of your food until they order and taste it. And McDonald's and all these other restaurants crushing it are not great. They're just consistent. So if you're consistent and you continue to get better, produce better food, better experience for your customers, better packaging, you'll get there. You'll become great. But you don't need to be great to start. You need to start to become great. All great questions. I'll answer anything you have a little bit later on. I'll tell you how I can answer questions. But that brings us to how to build your hyper profitable long-term dream business no matter the economy, and do this all while spending less time and keeping more profit. This is the most important secret, because if you're not hyper profitable long-term, nothing else matters. So this is so important. Stick with me until the end here, and we're going to talk about this tip right here. So Domino's stock is literally destroying the stocks of all the other big tech companies. In fact, from 2010 to 2017, they produced 3 times the return of Amazon. 3 times. And in fact, Domino's returns more than Netflix, Tesla, Amazon, Apple, and Google. They are crushing it. They are crushing it. They're growing super rapidly. They're destroying the competition. Now, what the hell did Domino's do? How did Domino's go from this irrelevant pizza brand to literally destroying the competition, beating the stock market, and just making things happen? Domino's adopted the hybrid growth model. You see, Domino's has thousands and thousands of ads they're running online. And we can see here using Facebook Ad Library, they have tons of different ads, and these are pretty simple ads. And Domino's is the 7th biggest online ordering business worth billions of dollars, and they use absolutely no third parties. And this is the reason why in 4 years, they almost doubled their sales from $2 billion to almost $4 billion. Now, do you want to know their secret? Do you want to know the secret of how Domino's literally doubled in 4 years? Like, how does a restaurant business double in 4 years? That's insane. They did the same thing Amazon, Uber, Waze, and all other big tech / e-companies use to grow. Now, in order for you to understand this, it's important for you to know what today's and the future's customers want. Number one, they want speed, ease, and quality when they want these things, and they want a great experience when they're in the mood for fun. Speed, ease, and quality, and great experiences when they're in the mood for fun. They want both of these things. Some days they want speed when they're working super hard, when they're, going to work, or they're working remotely at home. They want to eat fast. They want some food that they can order, click a couple buttons, and have it show up to their door consistently. That's what they want. And at the same time, they also want great experiences when they're in the mood for fun. They want both of these things. The hybrid model allows you to get maximum long-term growth by delivering both. And this is what Domino's did. This way of growing is the direction the world has been going, and the restaurant industry is late catching up. The hybrid restaurant model, like I said before, creates new customers, a higher average purchase value, and increased customer frequency in store and online at the same time, creating two consistent income streams. And this is what it looks like. So you have customers coming in online and in store at the same time. Repeat customers, we're increasing the average ticket price, and more customers are coming in the door who've never been there before. This is what Domino's is doing. And with this model, when new customers come in the door, in store and online, that leads to more reviews. And these reviews lead to more customers. And because you brought customers online, people who order online tell their friends about you online. They say, hey, I ate at this restaurant, I had a great experience, and that produces new customers who order from you online. But at the same time, your new in-store customers who may be picking up or they may be dining in, they tell their friends about you. So that creates new in-store customers. And new reviews creates new search engine results. So you show up higher on Google and you're more relevant online. So when people are searching for your type of restaurant, you show up higher because when you get more reviews and you get more customers, it leads to you showing up higher. So at the same time, your online ordering system is showing up higher. So is your actual brick and mortar business showing up higher on Google. Both at the same time are showing up higher because you get more customers in both places, which leads to, of course, more new customers, which then leads to you being able to open up another hybrid location, which then leads to 3 locations, and then even more locations if you're ambitious, even more locations, and then eventually an empire. And that is the way the hybrid method works. But the old way is you do all this hard work and you're super excited and your excitement starts to go down over time, but the amount of work you have to do goes up over time. You constantly have to work harder because you're losing staff or you have all these things going on. You have all this turbulence in your business and the amount of work goes up the longer you own your restaurant, and the excitement seems to go down. And your sales, they don't always go up just because you're working harder, right? Your excitement starts to go down over time because your money is so up and down. One month you're doing really good when you first open, and then your sales kind of go down a little bit afterwards. And then they might go up a little bit after a couple months go by, and then they'll go down and then they'll go up. Or if the market change, or if the economy, you have all these different factors in the world that are controlling your business instead of you controlling the growth. And how often do you hear about a restaurant owner working their butt off, yet no matter how hard they work, they still aren't where they want to be? Or the restaurant owner that's tried a dozen different marketing companies and strategies, and none actually produce predictable, trackable, scalable results. I hear this all the time, probably every single day. And that's because growth isn't about working harder or trying a bunch of new things. It's about leveraging your time and creating systems that grow you. The richest people in the world have the same 24 hours as you do. The difference is they are masters at leveraging their time. Now, with the hybrid model, the amount of work you do goes down over time, but the amount of growth you get goes up over time. And that's a secret to all these big tech companies and e-commerce companies growing so quickly. With the hybrid model, you leverage your resources and use them to leverage your time, and use systems to grow you on autopilot. And for example, say with your hybrid model, for every $2 you spend with your system, you make $20 back and got a new customer, and this happened every single time. All you would have to do is spend more to make more, and growth would be as easy as just putting in more money, right? Just put in $100 and you get $800 back, or whatever that number is. It's put money in, get money out. Now imagine you spend $1,000 over the course of a month and make $10,000 back in online orders, which a couple of our clients have done exactly that. You not only make a 10x return on that $1,000, but a percentage of those people who ordered will come back and order from you again. You also got in front of 100,000 people in a 3-mile radius that didn't order right away, but a percentage of these people eventually tried you, and this created new customers that came inside your business. $100 in, new customers, not only online, but also coming into your business. You now want to grow even more, so in month 2, you spend $4,000 and make $20,000 back and get 400 new customers. This took no extra work because all you did was spend more money on what's already bringing in customers. Half of these 400 new customers order again and become long-term profitable customers. You also reached 400,000 people in a 3-mile radius. A lot of the same people came back multiple times, and you reached them multiple times, and this created even more new customers inside your business. You are now outspending and getting in front of more people than all of your competitors. You are now showing up higher on Google and have more reviews, leading to more new customers, all because you implemented the hybrid growth model. By spending money to make more money, you are growing rapidly and with predictability. You are fueling massive growth, and you aren't risking any of your money because you see a direct return right away. And by month 12, you have grown exponentially, and it was completely predictable because you let a system grow you. And you have absolutely destroyed your competitors. This is the same model the richest man in the world used to grow Amazon. It's also the secret reason why tech companies grow so much faster than brick and mortars. And it now is possible for restaurants to grow the same way Amazon did with the hybrid model. All Domino's does is run profitable ads to their own online ordering site. That's their main strategy. Because guess what? This is the most important point of this entire video. Listen closely, focus, and write this down. It's a lot more scalable, profitable, predictable to get someone to click a couple buttons with their fingers than it is to get someone to get in a car, drive 15 minutes, then spend 40 minutes shopping or eating. And your restaurant can only fit so many people, but your online ordering website can have thousands of people on it and never break. And there are tons of companies that will give you their delivery drivers, so there's very little turnover and you don't have to worry about hiring new people all the time. So all you have to do is focus on making great food and making a lot of money. And because this frees up your time to focus on great food, that focus makes your food better than all your competitors who don't have the time to focus, making you more money, giving you more time, and improving your total quality of life. Now, if you don't want to just focus on online ordering, that's okay. Because like I said, hybrid means both. And the hybrid model grows both parts of your business at the same time without doing more work. And there's countless of stories of this, like Cindy with 1,000% ROI, Santo, 20% increase in sales, Richard, 1,200 online orders in a single day, Giovanni, doubled sales, Carlo, additional $20,000 a month, Nick brought in additional 5 figures for his nightclub. Now, you have 2 choices at this point. You can continue to do things the old way. You can continue to use all these different strategies that are unpredictable, and life can feel like you're pushing up a boulder up a hill or pulling a rabbit out of a hat. You can try 10,000 different combinations. You can try all these different things and eventually maybe find something that makes you money. You can flush a bunch of money down the toilet and burn a lot of cash and frankly waste a lot of time trying to figure out the best way to do things. And in this uncertain environment, you can just continue to let the market steer your business, let the market dictate where you show up. You can end up potentially like all these giant brands that are going out of business, or you can start doing it the new way. And things will be so simple for you because we've already unlocked the key to thriving in this current environment. Now, my question is, will you be next? Are you the next person that we are going to help with this hybrid method? Will you be the next client that we work with? We do not work with just anyone. We're very particular about the type of person we work with. They have to have a certain attitude. They have to have a certain quality of business. And we work with 3 types of clients. So people who want to grow faster, want to reduce sales declines, or just go to the next level. They're already doing well, but they just want to go to the next level. And here's how the process works. This is for restaurant owners that already have a great business, like I've said before. They sell high quality food that people want, and there's an actual market for. People who know that they are good at what they do and believe that they can dominate their marketplace and make significantly more money. That has to be your mindset. People who truly love helping others and value customer happiness above all else. And also people who understand that they need to have some skin in the game, that there's going to be some effort on both sides of things. And ultimately, the better the fit, the better results. And I'm looking for win-wins. Our company, our team, we're looking for win-wins. And this is your opportunity right now to get a personal, custom tailored one-on-one strategy with me and you. This strategy session is where we will really start working to figure out what you want and how to make it happen in the fastest time possible. And honestly, a warning, time is a factor and the market is changing really quickly right now. Things could get worse tomorrow. Things could change in a second. And right now, at the very beginning, since we started this hybrid method, we started using the strategy Domino's and all these big brands have kept secret for so long. Since we started using these strategies to grow our clients, not very many people are doing this at all. In fact, I don't know anyone else who's doing this. So time is short. As soon as your competitors start to do this and the market starts to get saturated with people who catch on to the strategy, this is going to work less. Is it going to work? Yes. But you want to get in before everyone else does. Do not wait. Do not wait for the market to to collapse on you. Don't wait for next month or the month after that and just hope things get better. Don't just hope. Don't just try all these different things and have none of them work. Don't just waste a bunch of time. Don't just let yourself bleed if you're losing money and do nothing about it. Take action. We're looking for action takers. So this window of opportunity will not be open for long at all. So what you can do right now is you can either click this button on the screen, or if you have this in full screen mode, you can get outside of full screen mode and you can fill out a quick survey. And if you qualify, we'll schedule a strategy session to discuss how we can help you achieve your goals with the hybrid method and orderingads.com. So you can exit out of the screen and you can click the button below. You'll see some type of button on the screen that'll tell you to go ahead and fill out a survey. It'll ask you what type of person you are to make sure you're the type of person we'd want to work with. We're very, very limited on the type of people that we work with because, like I said, we really care about our clients and we want to make sure we have the highest quality of people. One bad client can literally ruin our business. So it's not what we want. We want the highest quality people. We want the best people. We want great restaurants that represent our brand in a positive way. So if you feel like you fit those qualifications that I mentioned above, go ahead right now and fill out an application. You probably won't see this again, Like I said, we're not keeping this open for very long. So if you made it to this point, thank you so much for watching. The next step is to go ahead and click that survey. I wish I could sit here all day long and talk about the hybrid method and dive into all the nitty gritty and details, but unfortunately I can only keep this video so long. So go ahead and exit out, fill out the survey, schedule a strategy call, and I will speak to you then more about the details of the hybrid method, answer any questions you have a great conversation with you, and then see if we can help you start reaching your goals.